Hey Jenny, thanks for reaching out to me. I hope we work it out that I can show your house and see if it's a fit for some of my buyers or some of these other folks who missed out on the last house that I listed. If not, you'll walk away smarter, and maybe in the springtime, middle spring, early summer, you'll be ready to list. So think of me when that time comes. Thanks. Hey Jenny, here's my analysis. If it seems a little quick, it's because I've sold 2 houses in there in the past within this month, and so I'm real familiar with it. Doesn't take as much digging after doing this 3 times in the same month. So what you see here is this is your house when you bought it, 1,400 square feet, 1,440 to be exact, and you paid 147. Very good job on that. That's going to turn out to be a really good price. Here's your tax record. I always like to look at this because one of the objections we sometimes get is a small backyard, and as you can tell, you've got a great backyard. That removes that objection from the equation. So next thing we're going to look at is the finishes on your house. Now you could have done a lot to this house in the meantime, so I really don't know. I don't usually like to nail people down to a specific number until I see the house, so what I've done is I've just put you in a range here to help you make a decision if it would be worth showing your house at this point. You don't even have to list it at this point. We can get a one-time showing and let these 2 potential buyers in and then go from there. First of all, what we do is we let the people who missed out on the houses that I showed take a look at it, and then I would bring any of my buyers in there. Now that would require a little bit of marketing from my part, so cat would be out of the bag that you would be open to selling, but it wouldn't be actually listed where you had to leave it open and deal with getting the dogs out during showings and leaving the house and all that. So one thing I wanted to point out is when you bought it, it does have carpet. I'm not sure if you've upgraded that, but that is a big difference in getting the high-end price or the lower price in the range I'm going to put you in. Also see that you have, in this picture, you still had looks like antique brass or bright brass light fixtures. I'm not sure about the doorknobs and whatnot. You do have a nicer kitchen than some with the cabinets. Some of those had melamine cabinets, which is kind of like a compressed wood that's wrapped in a plastic. Basically white cabinets, but they're thought to be pretty cheap, and in reality they're really durable, but these cabinets look a lot better. Looks like you have better fixtures in these rooms as well. And the countertops are Formica, so I don't know if you've upgraded the appliances as well, but the ones that are selling for the most per square foot either have stainless or black appliances. Everything else looks really similar to the one I just sold. It is slightly smaller. It's the 1440 plan. The last 2 that I sold were the 1483 plan. That's not a bad thing. In fact, the slightly smaller house can go for more per square foot, but because they are so close, it doesn't affect the value much. If you were talking about contrasting the 1800 square foot plan and the 1400 square foot plan, the 1800 square foot plan has to sell for a lot less per square foot. It's just kind of a rule in real estate, a rule of thumb. It's called inversion. Just means little houses sell for more per square foot so that a little house, even in Donaldson, can sell for what a big house could sell for in like Green Hills. We just had a tiny little house sell for 146 a square foot, and that's just an amazing price that just got tested here. So now we're going to look at our comparables. This is the hard data. This is the only thing that appraisers look at. They don't care about pending sales. They don't care about active sales. Appraisers are really good at what they do. In most ways, they're more educated than realtors. They have to apprenticeship for 3 years. However, we both have our benefits, but realtors are allowed to, in their analysis, look at the aesthetics of the house and just kind of see where we land in the market in terms of value. What values are we bringing that appraisers aren't allowed to look at in terms of working for the banks to analyze it. So here's what we have. These are all the smaller square foot plans. You don't have the exact 440 plan that you have, 1440 plan. But looking through this, as I'm hovering over, you can see that this one sold for 101 a square foot. Don't panic. We're not going to be using that. That is now what's called an outlier. The number's just not relevant. This one sold for 115 a square foot. That's what I was looking at even 2 months ago, is really best case scenario. Another 115 a square foot, 116 a square foot. You see it squeaking up there a little bit. 111 a square foot. This listing just came right in the middle of them. It had a very small backyard. And then 116. Now this one had a tiny backyard, and I actually really discouraged my client from buying it, because he would have been paying top dollar and inheriting a sales feature that in a softer market would have to make him sell for less. So that's kind of why I got on the Abington Park Facebook page, and I met Vanessa and started trying to dig for a listing that would have been a better value for my buyer. In the long run, a good friend of mine called me literally 2 days after I got a contract on another house and said he was getting transferred. So we ended up selling his house as well. So that's the hard data. You can see that 116 and we got three at that 116, 115. I'm using that as my base number. I don't want to go below 111 or the 101. Just so you know, I live in Donaldson, so I'm not interested in fire selling houses, because I want to see values go up. I want to see Donaldson become, the coolest place to be right now, and I'd like to see my property values go up. So when you're interested in the area you live in, then you'll fight a little harder for those higher prices, and I'll coach you on how to get that. So now what we do is, this is where the appraisers don't go into. We're going to look at the active market. It is true, and a lot of agents will bring this up when they're on the buying side, is that where we're about to go right now into the active comparables do not affect appraisals. But it's not true to say they don't affect value. It's just supply and demand. If people can get it and people are willing to pay it, and the market doesn't have enough inventory, then we can go higher. So looking at active comparables, here's what we're looking at, and I've got these in order. Keep in mind these high prices before you get excited. Some of these are on slightly larger plans, so they're not going to, by the time we multiply these same square footage prices, we have less square feet to multiply it by. So here's what we got here. We got pending. They were asking 117. We don't know exactly where any of these are going to land, or I should say, I know some of them, but we can't disclose that because some of those could fall through, and that's why it helps to have somebody who's active in the neighborhood. This one's at 120 a square foot. You can generally assume houses are going to close between 2 to 4% of list. So if it was 4%, you still are above 115. You've got 120 again, 121, and 121. So the real ticket here is that I know that the prices that two of these are going to close at: Hawthorne, which listed at 121, and Irving, that listed at 120. I can tell you that they are so close to list that I'm using 120, 119 right in there as my top dollar. This one is the one I just sold, and it actually per square foot is going to sell for higher than the one on Hawthorne. I have a contract on both those, exact same house. So that's why I'm real bullish right now on Abington Park. First of all, I've learned in the past 6 months what a great community you have there in terms of interconnectedness. I've always liked the neighborhood, but people want to live in a community that has that, especially if you're going to live in the city, because even though Abington Park's a very safe neighborhood, living in the city always has its city drama, and you want to have neighbors who are watching out for you and are taking care of each other, and that is definitely happening in Abington Park. So I've become a raving fan since I've kind of got into the culture there and see how everybody takes care of each other. So to back up to the big picture, you have a 1440 square foot plan. I don't do the math in front of you, but that is our multiplier when I multiply these things out. So if we were able to get 115 a square foot, you'd be at 165. If we were able to get 119 a square foot, you'd be at 173. Now, the ticket there is, I don't know what you've done to your house. So let's just say you have carpet downstairs and linoleum floors, you have the white appliances. You're probably going to be looking at the 165 price. you know, looking at what you purchased for, like I said, really good job there in your purchase. I know that the market was soft at the time, and man, you did really, really great. So you should be proud. And then 173 is if I get over to your house and I go, oh wow, you know, look at the style, look at the hardwood floors, all that kind of stuff. And in reality, the style affects the emotional appeal of the house as much or more than some of the finish upgrades, such as the hardwood floors and things. Now, the hardwood floors are pretty key, but you could live without the stainless appliances and things if all the decorating just came together in an awesome way. I do have a consultant that I can bring in. When I list the house, I pay for all the photos, everything, and we do professional photos. You can look at some of my listings and see that our marketing's top notch. I do, however, charge $100 if I bring in my designer to help you use what you already have, and if you choose to use your services on anything else like painting the house or anything, painting the inside of the house, then she just does it really inexpensively because of her relationships with painters. She does a lot of this, and she'll use some of your stuff just to make it prettier. So it is realistic you could get to that 173. The question is how much you're gonna have to spend. If you're gonna have to, you know, drop $3,000 or $4,000 to upgrade all your flooring, and you might have just been able to sell at that 165 and save yourself a lot of headache. So that would be my goal. Again, there could be things I'm not taking into consideration. Say you got 2 big old dogs and the house still smells like pets, things like that. So don't hold me to these numbers, but just looking at the actual floor plan, the way it sits on the lot, I feel very confident that without any adverse data that I'm missing, you'd be at that 165 to 173. If you've really rocked it out, I could go above 173, but it would really take something special, because the one that I just sold for over 121 a square foot, over 120 a square foot, it was just amazing. The guy was a professional cleaner and had with a corporate cleaning company, and he had access to a lot of good materials. Everything was changed out to oil rubbed bronze finished light fixtures. It had about a $1,500 refrigerator in it. It was just really something else. So hope that helps. I'd love to swing by and take a look and, you know, nail you down on terms of these numbers, and all you have to do is agree to let me show it to this first round of buyers. And if that doesn't work out, then nothing lost. And if you decide to list, we could do that. I'm very confident if we really listed it, it would be gone by, you know, within a month. However, that's for you to decide this place in your life right now. Let me know what other homes I can send you, because obviously you got to move somewhere. And if we can find you something that really motivates you to upgrade right now, that might help you make your decision. Again, thanks, Jenny. Talk to you later. Bye.